Okay, so for me, grew up in a tiny town. Like, I shouldn't be sitting here, to be quite honest. 5,000 people in my town, graduating class of like 50, and I was, maybe the middle of the pack. So not like a smart, bright kid, but hard worker. I had good parents, though. They always encouraged me to get out, get out of the desert. So I grew up in the high desert. So I did that. I worked hard. I went to school. I did the whole thing, went to school, got a job. And from the get-go, I wanted to teach. I had great teachers, and I wanted to be just like them. So I had good coaches. So I did that. Got my credential, started teaching special education, and I started coaching football, coaching basketball, all these different things, and loved it. At one point, my wife and I, Elise, are living out in the high desert, and that was bringing her out there. That was the wrong deal. She's a city girl, and
Gotcha.
So we knew at some point our time would come back. We needed to get back to the water, get back to the ocean. So we did that, but in that process, we just major life obstacles, challenges, trauma, family dynamics. So our lives were like shook. And it brought us kind of to our knees. We separated for a time, and it really allowed us to kind of figure out for myself, like, what am I doing here? What's the purpose? What am I doing with my life? And then in comes, funny enough, like that's where real estate lands for me, is in this journey of finding, what am I doing? I thought I might be losing my wife. And in that process, I'm discovering this passion for time. Because we're sitting here, I finally had this moment of realization where there's not enough time in the day, and I'm wasting it, or spending a lot of time at work or all these other things when I'd rather be connected to my wife. So I read all these books, podcasts, coaching seminars, gurus. I went and dove into as much of it as I possibly could, and in that process, I found real estate, and I found like how powerful it would be for myself, for my financial future. And, at some point in that process, my wife and I are working on each other, working on ourselves, and get connected and find each other. And so that's like the cherry on top of the story, is I find real estate, find how powerful it is, and I pursue it with a passion. Like I was gung-ho, head first, learning investor, 101 speak, and just surrounding myself with people that knew more than me, did more than me, and that I would look up to. And so that's where I met some of the key players with Realty Group.
Oh,
and cool. I joined Investor Group and just got educated and started looking, for investments. Actually, I was that was the whole start. I wasn't really looking for a personal residence. I was thinking longer term that might be my thing, but the investor piece took me into, looking for deals, trying to find deals, found one in LA, made some money, first deal, put it under my belt. That was great. And then my wife actually is like, hey, what about this property here in Oceanside? And we knew Realty Group through the Investor Group. And so we reached out for some help, some support there with this home in Oceanside, and it had a little granny flat in the back. And it was an extremely tough journey to go through this whole road of this property anyway. So, but we, with all the Realty Group, also with the investor background, there's no way this deal would have transacted. We would have never been successful with it had we not been able to kind of mesh the two worlds of, traditional real estate agency with an investor savvy group who knew how to, get creative with financing, get creative with negotiating with the sellers and the owners or whatever. So long story short, we got this home that we shouldn't have. We bought it with credit cards. You name it. We did all the creative ways of getting this house and fixed it up, put it on Airbnb, and it pays for itself. It's
cool. Yeah,
the house pays for itself, and you just can't save money this fast. Real estate is the key to wealth. And so we found that out to be very true as soon as we were able to get into the game. So yeah, and then so for me, closing that deal with that house, continuing my journey with the investor group, at one point I just felt like, maybe this is something that I need to start pursuing as my kind of side hustle, my side gig. I love teaching and I don't want to give that up. And so that's where the teacher by day, real estate hero by night comes into play.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then you're also taking the education over into the real estate world,
right? Well,
as well on the university, huh?
Exactly. So that's the biggest piece. Most people are so, I'm trying to think of a politically correct way of saying this, but we just lack education, right?
Oh, sure.
In high school and college, we don't teach some of these things that we're going to experience, credit scores and financing, debt to income ratio, what loan to take, or none
reading,
of these things.
Writing,
mortgages.
barely. Yeah. They barely teach reading and writing.
Correct, right.
Yeah, it's like how you're supposed to know about
in my
a
class
house.
we do.
Right.
But,
Okay. Good.
But in others, yeah, maybe not.
Sure.
Also in my class we do cash flow 101. So we play cash flow. Yeah.
Nice.
So no. Yeah. What did you ask me?
Yeah. Let's get into the.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's segue this in into how'd you actually become part of this team? Like,
right,
so then we're like, okay, cool. Then you joined.
So
Fam Realty. So you met these
guys
through the investment club, right? You started doing real estate deals,
right?
Then you got plugged into
Fam Realty Group. So it became it was really a discussion, right? It was hanging out and surrounding myself with people that I knew more than me about real estate. I was constantly trying to just surround myself to rise up, right? You're the average of the 5 people you're surrounded by. So I was constantly trying to just surround myself with people that I felt like were where I want to be or on this, at least on the same path and journey of time freedom, retiring young, that kind of thing. So in that, Brett, Francis being the key player and key agent to helping us close our home, always kept that close relationship and felt like a part of the family already, but then just made it official when, I kind of approached them like, well, what do you guys think about possibly, putting my efforts towards, becoming an agent and working alongside you guys and with you guys and with Fam Realty Group. And it was, of course, nothing but, welcomed arms and support and encouragement.
Awesome. That's cool. So then let's talk about why now is the best time to either buy or sell. So if we're going to go for sellers, like why is now a good time to sell?
Yeah, that's a great question. Why sell? I mean, in my experience, just within the last few months, owners and listings are getting $30,000, $40,000 over asking. Whoa. Appraisals being waived, contingencies being released like almost immediately upon offer, 10, 12 offers on a home. It's almost just put your house put your house up on the market with the right team, and it's going to be gone in a matter of a few days. So you're going to get top dollar. So if you're looking to get out of if you're looking to get out of that home or have a place to go, and you want to capitalize on making a gain on the appreciation, now's the time.
Cool.
For sure.
That was a good answer. That was
cool.
a good, on why you'd want to sell your house now. That was a good answer. You just stacked it full of all the reasons.
Good.
Like,
well, that's why I would sell.
Yeah.
That's why I keep getting voicemails from Zach.
So, so you came from the investors world.
Yes.
You got into traditional real estate selling.
Yeah.
Through doing it yourself as becoming an investor in the investor side of things.
Right.
Right. So tell us about this cool stuff about the off-market shadow inventory, pocket listings, things that are coming soon that nobody knows about. Right. Like, so give us the juice. Give us the juice on all this good stuff the good stuff that the investors get access to before it even hits the market or the MLS or where a traditional person could come in and actually buy the house.
Well, yeah, think about how many times you've heard of somebody or you've seen something on the street that all of a sudden it's fixed up and somebody's buying it brand new, right? So who bought it when it was a piece of crap? It needed a ton of repairs, ton of work. Who bought that? Who found it and did all the work and made all the money, right? It's always going to be the investor. It's always going to be the person who caught onto the lead far before it got to market. So when we're talking about off-market, shadow listings, some of this inventory that isn't on Redfin, on Zillow, that's what we have. And that's what separates us from most other agencies is that we have the experience not only on as far as being investors ourselves, but being able to access and have constant communication with these homes and with this inventory. So if you know, where do people mostly go if they want to look online?
Zillow.
To see the home? They're going to go to Zillow. They're going to go to Redfin.
Yeah.
They're going to go to the ones that pop up first and who's paying the most money for their Google ads or whatever.
Yep.
So that's where they go, but they're just going to see what's listed, right? And if you're doing that, you're already too late, because there's 10 offers on a home. There's already offers that are over asking.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So you want to get it. You need to get in the conversation
before day
that.
one. Before day, because it's on Zillow, it's already on day one. Now you're like, oh,
it's too late.
Yeah,
it's too late.
It's too late.
So that's where it comes. You know, if you have your criteria set, like you know where you want to live, you know what kind of house you want. Like we have the skills, we have the technology, we have the marketing campaign to target those specific things for our VIP clients, and that's where those off-market properties come into play. We can see the home before that's even on the market.
Oh, that's cool. Because I was on when I go to Zillow and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, you can go. Like, so I'm watching all these houses right here from pretty much from Tamarack to Carlsbad Village. Right. And I'm watching them pop up and pop down, and I'm just kind of like, what other things are here that aren't on the market? Because if you go drive it, there's signs all over the place, but they're not up on the deal. So
then there's variances and degrees of off market, right? So there's some that are off market, just means they're not on the MLS, and then there's some that are not on the MLS, but they're being advertised maybe on Craigslist by the owner for sale by owner. Some don't even know they're off market until you get into a conversation with them, and you explain to them, hey, this is a hot market. Or would you be curious about an offer on your home? I have a buyer that is looking for your home. They pointed at your home and they want it.
Wow.
And that's even more off market, so to speak, because it's not even listed by an owner. So to
That's
speak.
wild. Yeah. Cool. So what's the benefit of if I'm a seller and I'm bringing this to you, hey, I need a house sold, right? And then you're like, okay, how does that play for, say, an off market or a shadow or a pocket listing coming soon kind of scenario?
Yeah.
So how's that play out? I'm a seller.
Yeah.
What do these things mean for me?
Oh, well, first off, a database of 10,000 buyers. So immediately before it even gets to the market, we're already, getting this information out to people that want your home.
Wow.
And so then you're just speeding the process along, right? So we have the buyers ready, and we can market to those buyers specifically. And then with us, all the strategies of, if you want to quickly sell, then we have that route. We can make an offer in 24 hours and close in 72 hours and pay cash. Or if you want, it depends on what the seller wants. So if there's, it just depends on the strategy, right? And
let's get into the strategy.
There you go.
Let's throw down on this strategy.
Right.
The seller strategy or the buyer strategy? Which way you want to take this? Or the investor strategy?
Well,
how many strategies are there, and which ones do we want to use?
Where does it end? It doesn't. It doesn't end. There's many strategies. So
let's go to seller strategy. Okay, seller success strategy.
So I mean, as a seller, every seller wants to have top dollar, right? Maybe not every top dollar, or not every seller wants top dollar. Maybe it's so situational. Some sellers are in distress where they just need to get out. They're in a divorce, going through a divorce. They need to get rid of the home. Some sellers aren't in distress, can wait, aren't in a hurry, want top dollar. And so it just depends on what kind of seller you are. Maybe it's a trust. And, in our scenario, the home we bought, it was a trust. 8 people were on the trust. So it was you had to be very creative with how to negotiate with 8 different people. So yeah, it's so situational. So I would say for the distressed owner who needs to just get out, then that quick 24-hour cash offer route is a great option, because you're going to get the most bang for your buck and you're going to get out of the problem. And then, if you can wait, you have time, and time's on your side, then you put some strategy, you get together with the FAM Realty Group team, and you start looking at what updates can we make? Is it needed? Because then you can start looking at, if we do the countertops, if we do the cabinets, then we'll get more money at the end. You know, you just can play around with what updates are needed and whether or not it's worth doing.
Yeah.
So it's situational. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Seller success.
So the seller
It's all about the strategies.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Cool. What else we got?
Let's see here. I mean, we could get into like velocity banking, finance, the education stuff.
Boom. Let's do that. Velocity banking. All right.
Velocity banking. What
So,
does that
so
mean?
what does it mean for a seller? Is it different for a seller than for a buyer?
It's mostly for, you know, owning a home. You're the buyer. So you're thinking, or I mean, the seller could use it too. Like it's
You just
it's
say
just
homeowner.
financial education.
Financial education.
That's what it is.
It's for the homeowner, not for the
It's
buyer
for
or the seller.
homeowner. Yeah.
Regardless.
Homeowner, car owner, student loan holder,
Debt owner.
debt owner.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay. So we have a mortgage.
Right. The most expensive debt, mortgage, right?
Is it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you think of it's the lowest interest rate, but it's the most expensive debt on the planet.
Okay.
And most people don't look at it that way. They don't realize that, okay, a 2.5%, 3% loan is on a $500,000 house is actually going to still cost you over $1 million, right? Because you got a 30-year loan, 360 payments, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
So but if you break it down, there's a better way to pay your mortgage. There's a more efficient way, and you can shave off $100,000 of that mortgage when you learn the finance.
Pro tip. Let's get into it. How do we do that? We're shaving off
Well, you gotta go to
$100,000 on our
www.
mortgage.
Famuniversity.com. No.
Okay.
I'm just
Yeah. Plug it in, man. But that's
Well,
that's
so-
where you do have the videos of
Yeah,
training.
yeah,
Oh, cool.
Exactly. So yeah, no, it's a whole concept that does take some mental endurance, and I guess you could call it mental gymnastics. Maybe, I don't know. You have to wrap your mind around it because we've been conditioned to think a 30-year loan and not questioning how much money we're actually paying to bank. We don't question it, right? We just traditionally just hand our money over because we can buy a home, and that's fine. You know, we all want to own our home and have a nice place and that kind of thing, and so it's fun. But when you realize what other countries are doing and that they actually bank like this from the get-go, then you start to look, well, hold on, is there a better way? And there is, and it's velocity banking is what we have coined it. We call, or the FAM Wealth Acceleration Formula.
Oh.
And that, in a nutshell, will save you money. You know, cut your interest down by, 2/3. You know, what you pay over your lifetime. So.
Give us the principles of how this works.
Okay.
You just told us what it was. Now we all want to know. What's
Well, so I guess in the there's so many diagrams. I want to point stuff and do my teacher thing.
Yeah, do the one where what is it? So you pull out a fat line of credit.
Well,
you
so
chunk down
there's two ways.
$50,000 onto your mortgage.
There's
and then you skip a year and a half of payments, which saves you a massive chunk of interest.
Essentially.
And you do that for 7 years in a row, and you save $150,000
in the process. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a good way of explaining it?
Kind of, but everybody watching would be confused.
Okay.
Because everybody watching you explain it X's and O's on a chalkboard still have questions, right?
Okay.
But in a nutshell, there's two ways of going about it. There's the way that we teach our clients right now, because typically you're closing on a house with a traditional 30-year mortgage, right? Mm-hmm. So you're going to use the line of credit to institute this velocity banking concept where, yes, you take a draw from the line of credit to put that lump sum onto the principal balance of the home. You still continue to make your payment, but all it is the flow of money. So we're, the traditional sense, you're getting paid from your job or your business, and it goes into your bank account, and then from your bank account, you're paying all your expenses. Mm-hmm. Well, in this concept, it's just transitioning the flow of money. So your money from your bank or your money from your job or your business will bypass your checking and savings account and it'll go directly to your line of credit. And you manipulate that interest by being able to, suppress that loan balance.
Cool.
Now
because you're getting a 0% line of credit, 0% line of credit.
That's the ultimate way to do it.
Oh, cool.
And we show in our diagrams, I pointed to that, but
oh yeah.
In our education and what we teach, we actually show the worst case scenario, which is 21% interest, and you still come out on top, saving a buttload of money and a lot of years off the principal balance of the home.
So we're at the all-in-one.
All-in-one.
What does that even mean? The all-in-one loan.
So
how does this work? Where does this take place? How do I use it as a buyer or for a seller? Or is this an investment thing you're coming with?
Well, so yeah, the all-in-one loan idea is that it's a first lien positioned line of credit. So instead of going to the bank and applying for a loan to go buy a home, you're essentially going to the bank, applying for a line of credit to buy the home versus a loan. So in our education, what we teach is that there's a difference between a line of credit and a loan. One interest on the loan side is amortized, it's scheduled, interest is compounded and front loaded. On a line of credit, your interest is variable, your interest is simple, and it's averaged on a daily basis, right? So you can manipulate the balance and the amount of interest you pay just by manipulating the balance of your line of credit. So that's why you want to, you can mess around with, okay, let's put all our money on that line of credit, bring down the interest so you're not making any interest payments or what have you. You can manipulate it. So that's the first thing you have to kind of differentiate. Loan, line, two different ways of interest. Mm-hmm. Loan is more expensive. Doesn't matter the interest. And so the all-in-one loan, they call it a loan, but it's a line of credit. Uh-huh. So it's a first position lien on the property that is a line of credit, and you can use it as your checking account. So your house is literally your checking account and your savings account.
Wow.
So you direct deposit money straight into your house. It brings down the principal balance of your house. Pay for your groceries, pay for your gas, what have you, and that comes out of the home. And so over time, it's the same principle. You're shaving off 20, you're shaving off like 10 to 15 years, 20 years of your loan, saving hundreds of thousands of dollars of interest. So,
wow.
But with that loan, there's a lot of, there is some stricter rules, require like qualifying factors. Mm-hmm. So debt to income ratio and, the amount of equity in the home and that kind of thing. So a lot of times we get people to start velocity banking, understand the concept through that line of credit route, just like even a credit card, what have you. And then once you build up enough equity in the home, and appreciation goes in your favor, you can then refinance into the all-in-one.
Gotcha.
Loan. Yeah.
So this is the first time I've ever heard this come from real estate.
Oh.
How come other real estate agents aren't pitching this like you guys are? Like, what's the deal with that?
That's a great question. I don't know. Probably because we pride ourselves on educating our family, our clients, and we pride ourselves on saving our clients money. And it's things that we've implemented ourselves. We've learned this because it's something that we learned and discovered in our investor world, and we've now brought this to the real estate, the retail of real estate world. Like, everybody should benefit from this, not just the investors, but the average homeowner should be able to.
Right. Yeah, because if you're paying off your house in 7 years instead of forever, because the people are doing these refi jobs, and it's just kind of like it makes no difference. Refi. Yeah. So, or if it were to be 30 or 40 years, however you guys do that, if you could pay off your house in 7 years, save $150,000, however much it might have ended up being.
Right.
Like, that's a huge. That's how it should be, like the baseline. How come that's not like the baseline? Hey, this is the way you should do it. Like,
it's funny enough, it is the baseline in Australia and a lot of other countries.
Really?
This is the way they bank. They don't offer loans to buy homes. They offer lines of credit, and so this is the way of banking in a lot of other countries in the world. And it was made this way on purpose, so the banks can make money, and they do a good job.
They do a great job.
Yeah,
we have a real strong.
I want to be the bank.
Yeah, right?
It's the next episode now.
Episode 2. Let me teach you how to become the bank.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad. That's an exciting topic to talk about.
It is.
Especially because like I'm not a homeowner, but if I were a homeowner, that would be like, oh, now I'm stoked that I can get this taken care of in 7 years and not have to deal with it.
Yeah. And here in San Diego, it's more realistic to say 10. Like 10 years,
gotcha.
11 years. Because the numbers are just higher, right?
Right.
We're already coming in at $500,000
You could say you
more.
pull this off in like the Midwest, you can get it done in like 30 days.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Well, yeah, never mind. Tangent. But yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, the housing is much easier in the Midwest. But I lost my train of thought. You said something that reminded me of something. Shoot. Seller financing. Yeah, here's a good example of the seller financing. We have this off-market property right now. Mm-hmm. It's a triplex. The guy, it's here in Vista. The owner is just done being a landlord, right? He doesn't want to do it anymore, and so he's willing to sell the property. It's off-market. We're only showing it and carving out time to show it to our serious buyers, and most of them are investors because they're looking for multifamily. But he's willing to carry the loan, and that homeowners don't, I think, understand. A lot of homeowners don't understand how powerful that would be if that's. So when going back to our house that we bought, that was the first thing that I was looking for. Was like, I wonder if we could find a property where the owner would be willing to carry, meaning you don't have to go out and get a loan, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one of the properties that we have. The fourplex, the guy's willing to carry with a traditional minimal down payment as a rental, and he'll carry the rest of the paperwork. But it's because he wants to be the bank versus be the landlord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's real cool.
Yeah.
Right on.